So I've got a simple prompt here that says create a customer feedback form for Sprout, a small business. And now it will take my prompt and use that to build a form directly in Jotform without me needing to go to a separate website or go and do anything myself. Here's a preview of the form that it's created. If I click on the arrows on the top right here, it shows me the whole form so I can see that it's included everything. Most people are using AI like a fancy search bar. They're asking a question, copying the answer, and then done. But Claude can actually run real marketing work. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to do things from planning campaigns and creating content to building forms and getting insights from customers using Claude Chat and CoWork. It's all hands-on, so you'll be able to follow along. Let's dive in. I've got the Claude desktop app open here and I'm in the chat section. And in a new chat here, I'm going to put a really simple prompt to show you what not to do. So a basic prompt like give me marketing ideas for my business like this, if I submit it, Claude is probably going to come back and ask me some questions because I haven't given it the context that it needs to do the best job. So here it's going to ask some questions. So I'm going to say it's an online store. I want to get more new customers and I've got little to no budget like this. Now it's going to try and be helpful and give me a response here, but the reality is the better input that you provide Claude, the better output that you're going to get. So whilst it's telling me about some different types of content here, that's not what I wanted. I wanted it to actually write some. So I'm going to start a new chat. This time I'm going to use a 4-step framework that I like for writing good prompts. I'm going to start with persona. That's the role that you want Claude to play. So in the chat here, I'm going to type you're a marketing strategist. That's the persona. That's the first part of the prompt. Then the next part is the task, the thing you want Claude to do. So the next part of my prompt is going to say, give me 3 back-to-school campaign angles for our new modular lunchbox range, Sprout Flex. The next part of your prompt should be the context. That's the information that Claude needs in order to do that task that you've just given it. So the context here is to say that we're a small parent-to-parent brand, the audience is time-poor parents, and the product is genuinely leak-proof. That is all really good context to help Claude do this task. And the final part of the framework is the format, which is what you want your output to look like, or any hints that you could give about how you want Claude to format it. So here I'm saying for each angle, give a headline, the target audience, the core message, and the best channel. Keep it practical and not too salesy. Now I'm going to submit this prompt. And whereas before, Claude just gave me a bunch of random types of marketing, this time it's actually going to write that content for me in the format that I've asked for. Here we go. The first idea says the lunchbox that grows up with them. The target audience is parents of kids in the primary years. And we're saying that Sprout Flex adapts smaller compartments for picky younger eaters and so on. And you can look, you can slow down the video or pause here if you want to see the quality of the answers just by slightly improving that prompt and writing a few more sentences up front. So that's the first example of how Claude could help you with your marketing campaigns in terms of content or ideas. And if I wanted to, I could create a project for everything that I'm working on to do with this campaign. And projects are like folders full of chats so that Claude has all of the context from the previous chats about the same thing that you're working on. So I'm going to choose new project here. I'm going to call it Sprout Flex like this. Click Create Project. And I can take my previous chat over here by clicking on the 3 dots, choosing Add to Project, and then choosing Sprout Flex like this. And that chat is going to be added to the list over here. I could add some more specific instructions over on the right if I wanted to. But let's look at our next example. Claude can help with all sorts of different things. It could be email campaigns, brief documents, competitor research, or even customer research. And I'm going to use Claude now to build a form for me so that I can gather some information from customers. I'm going to do that using the Jotform Connector. So in a new chat here in my project, when I click the plus button, you'll see there's this option for connectors. And I have Jotform connected here. If you don't see that, you can just go to Add Connector, choose Browse Connectors, and then search for Jotform here. Once it comes up, you'll be able to add it. And that means that Claude can now work directly with Jotform to create and get insights from forms. So I've got a simple prompt here that says create a customer feedback form for Sprout, a small business. Include name, email, and overall satisfaction rating, what they like the most, what could be improved, and whether they're happy to be contacted. I'm going to submit that. And Claude thinks for a moment before saying, oh, I think I can use Jotform to do this. So I click use, and now it will take my prompt and use that to build a form directly in Jotform without me needing to go to a separate website or go and do anything myself. It's going to come back with the result after it's created it. Here's a preview of the form that it's created. It comes up right inside the chat like this, so I can see it's asking for name and email address. If I click on the arrows on the top right here, it shows me the whole form, so I can see that it's included everything. It's got the question about being contacted, what do you like most, what could be improved, overall satisfaction, and so on. That looks good. But it's not just creating forms. I can also ask for insights after people have filled it out, but before that, I want to make some edits. In fact, I want to add a question asking what product they bought. So I'm just going to say, add a question to ask which product they purchased, like so. Claude has the context in the conversation to know that I'm talking about that form. So it goes back to that form, edits it, and adds the question, again, without me needing to navigate away anywhere. And here's the updated form. So I'm going to click these arrows again, scroll down. There we go. There's my new question. Which product did you purchase? Now, at the moment, I see that some of the questions are optional whilst others aren't. So I'm going to click the X again here and say, make every question optional, because I'm more interested in the customers actually filling it out rather than being stuck on a question that they don't know how to answer and then completely leaving. And Claude comes back, and now I can see in the preview here that all of the questions are now optional. None of them have the required asterisks next to them. Obviously, I've got the option to click edit in Jotform and go and open this in Jotform itself to make any manual edits that I might want to. But it's not just editing and creating the form, it's also getting the insights from the form. So in a new chat or in this very same chat, I could write a prompt that says something like summarize the main themes from the responses and suggest 3 marketing improvements. If I submit that prompt, Claude is able to connect to Jotform, read all of the responses, and then give me that summary right inside this chat without me needing to go anywhere. Here's Claude answering now. It says, here's what the 25 responses to your Sprout feedback form are showing. Overall satisfaction is strong, 84% of customers scoring a 4 or a 5. They love the leak-proof promise. It's telling me what's holding people back, like the size and aesthetics and the price. And then here are the 3 marketing improvements. It says launch a Sprout Grows Up line or lead with leak-proof and flex modularity story. Really helpful, and that saved me having to look through all of these responses manually to figure out those combined ideas based on that feedback. Now, so far we've been using Claude in chat here inside a project where it could remember everything relating to that campaign. But we're going to switch to CoWork now, which is another part of Claude that can actually create the things that you need for your campaign or the project more broadly. The big difference between chat and CoWork is that CoWork can work with local files on your computer, so it can see them, but also create them and edit existing Word documents, PowerPoint slides, and so on. And what's nice about CoWork is that you can get it started on a particular task. It will lay out all of the different jobs that it's going to do and then just autonomously work through them without you needing to watch. So I have this marketing folder on my desktop here, and you can see I've got the brand voice guide here. I've also got a brand briefing doc. I've got the Flex launch one-pager with some more information, a back-to-school brief like this, and I've also got a mock-up of a landing page, a new homepage that we're considering for that product. So if I start a new chat in CoWork here, you see I've got the option to work in a project or folder. So I'm going to click on here, click choose a folder, and I'm going to select that marketing folder. Click open, and I need to give Claude permission to always access that folder to do what it needs to do. And that means Claude has all of the context across all of those files now, regardless of what I ask it. So I'm going to say, use this campaign brief to create a simple content plan for the next week. I'm going to submit this like so. And you see on the right-hand side, it's got progress and context, and so it's going to show me the task that it's working on. Marketing is the folder. It's showing me all of the different things within that folder that it might have created. And you can see it's even choosing and adding skills that it might use, like creating Word documents as it goes. This time around, Claude is asking me a few questions. It says the campaign's brief window starts mid-August, but today is July. What should the next week plan cover? I think we want the first campaign week like this. What format do you want it in? I think a Word document would be great. And now it's going to get to work without me needing to do anything. And I could go and use my computer for other things at this point as well. And a minute or so later, here's what Claude has created. It's actually created a Word document that I can preview on the right-hand side here. It's listed a table with the day, the channel that I would send this message on, and the content as well. It's got the key message and call to action on the right-hand side. And that took a minute. I would never have been able to write this all myself. And obviously I might go through and open that Word document and make edits, or I could just go back to Claude and ask for edits in this chat as well within CoWork. But Claude can also access the web, and you can use it right inside Google Chrome, where it could look at a page and maybe give feedback or pull information for you. So I'm going to switch across here to that new landing page that we're thinking about using for the product. You can see it's looking pretty simple so far. On the top right, you can see that I've installed the Claude Chrome extension. All you got to do is search for the Claude Chrome extension, install it in Chrome, and then you'll be able to click on it and open this side panel right inside your browser like this. And just like with Claude Chat, I'm going to click in the chat box at the bottom here, type in my prompt that says summarize how this landing page positions the product, then suggest 3 improvements. I'm going to click the submit button like normal, and Claude is going to get to work. You should be aware that if you're using Claude in Chrome, it can access web pages and do things on your behalf. So it will usually give you a plan and ask you to approve it like this. It's telling me that it's going to read the content, identify key elements, and then summarize the positioning. I'm going to approve that plan, and it will get to work in this side panel and give me the answers right here. So this could be really helpful if you're doing some kind of analysis, maybe of competitors, you're working in the browser, and you can just ask Claude whilst you're doing it. And Claude can keep working whilst you go and browse the web in other tabs as well. And that didn't take long at all. 20 or 30 seconds later, Claude is done. It says how the page position Sprout Flex. It's given me an overview here. 3 suggested improvements. It tells me the single testimonial is generic, where down the bottom here it just says really happy with it. That could be more detailed. The hero section has 2 calls to action. We should just stick with 1. And then the grows with them claim is the strongest, but is only described in text. So not only are we using Claude to actually help us do some of the work, like create the content or come up with a plan, it's now also suggesting feedback. It can be a really good way to get some feedback. You don't have to agree with everything it says, but it might be helpful for sparking ideas for how you can improve things as you move forward. In this video, you've seen how Claude can work across Chat, CoWork, and in Chrome, and how you can use external connectors like the Jotform Connector to work with third-party tools right inside Claude Chat to help you save time and focus on exactly what's going to use your brain rather than just the admin work. If this was helpful, don't forget to click subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.